Thank you so much, Supervisor Williams, for your words. Moving on, we are going to address some of the most frequently asked questions that we typically get from the community during an enrollment process. So the questions that you see here, I'm going to just briefly answer them, but just know that I'm going to cover them in greater detail during the presentation. Beginning in October, we will be the ones to source the energy that Southern California delivers to your home or business. This does not mean that your bill will increase. Our generation charges will be lower than the rates that Southern California Edison charges. You will continue to receive one bill from Edison, as they are still responsible for managing the billing. They are still responsible for managing the delivery and the grid management as well. So if there's an outage, that would still be their jurisdiction. This doesn't mean that you'll lose any of your discounts, rebates, or programs. In fact, you get to keep all of those programs, and you also get to benefit from the programs that we will be sharing in just a bit. I also want to note that you don't have to make any decisions today. You have time, and we're going to go over that period of time that you have to make a decision at no cost to you. So the way that we can begin this conversation is by detailing what type of agency we are. A lot of folks often ask, exactly what are we? Are we a private company? Are we a public agency? Well, we are in fact a public agency, but a unique type of public agency known as a joint powers authority. Cities and counties can form joint powers authorities or agencies such as ours and effectively share authority over its decision-making processes. Our agency is known as a Community Choice Aggregation Program, or a CCA in short. You may hear some folks refer to us as a Community Choice Energy Program as well. They are all synonymous. And as a CCA, we source power from clean and renewable energies on behalf of all of the communities that are participating, such as the County of Santa Barbara, such as the city of Goleta and Carpinteria as well. All of these communities want local control over their electricity sources and their prices, and CCAs is effectively a means in order to do that. Since we are a public agency, since we are a joint powers authority, we are governed by the jurisdictions that make up this agency. And so with local control, CCAs can set their own rates in a public setting. We are accountable to all of the communities that we serve, and we can help advance the acquisition of clean and renewable energy on the grid at a much quicker rate than what is expected of the utilities by the state government. This also allows us to obtain an additional revenue stream to reinvest back into the community. So now that we are taking a part of the revenue that comes from the energy service that you pay for, we can reinvest that back into the community through energy incentives, through rebates, through grants. These are all incentives to help make the push towards a clean energy future. And I'm going to be sharing more information on what that looks like ahead. So how exactly does this work? And I hope this image can help depict that fairly easily. Your energy service can be broken down into 3 key steps. The first step is known as electric generation. This is where we go out and source the energy on your behalf. The second and third step would then be the transmission of that energy over the grid and the delivery or the distribution of that energy to your home or business. As you see here, CCCE will be responsible for becoming the primary electric generation service provider to source your energy. That means it really just simply means that we are here to source the ingredients of your energy. But that does not mean that we're going to replace Southern California Edison by any means. In fact, they are still here to focus on delivering that energy to your home or to your business. And along with that, they're still going to be sending you one single bill. They are still responsible for the billing. And on that bill, it's going to feature our electric generation charges. But just as a reassurance to everyone who is just joining us, these are not additional charges. These are not duplicated charges. What is happening on the bill after your enrollment is that Southern California Edison is unbundling those energy charges that would once appear as one line item on your bill. So now you get to see more transparency on your bill. You get to see that Southern California Edison is charging you for the delivery of that energy, they are still responsible for that, and we are charging you for sourcing that energy, which is called electric generation service, and that's how it would appear on your bill. So at the end of the day, you are a shared customer once you've enrolled with our agency. You are a shared customer of Central Coast Community Energy and Southern California Edison. And the benefit to you is our competitive rates, and you get to benefit from a larger suite of energy programs, not only from Southern California Edison, but also from Central Coast Community Energy. Our particular CCA, or Community Choice Aggregation Program, represents 33 jurisdictions across the Central Coast, as you see here on the screen. That includes the counties of Santa Cruz, San Benito, Monterey, a few cities within the county of San Luis Obispo, but not the county communities themselves. And then, of course, it does include Santa Barbara County, which is why we are here today. That, of course, is going to include the city of Goleta, Carpinteria, and all of the unincorporated communities in South County that are served by Southern California Edison that are joining us this October 2021. I think it's also really important for us to stress which communities are not being served by us. So if you have any accounts in the city of Santa Barbara, for example, just know that you are not going to be served by us because the city of Santa Barbara is launching their own CCA program that begins service for residents in October as well. So if you live in Santa Barbara, but perhaps have a commercial account in outside of the city, just know that you're going to be receiving your CCA service from both the city as well as Central Coast Community Energy. And if you're interested in learning more about that program, I highly encourage you to reach out to the city of Santa Barbara. But if you live in the city of Carpinteria, Goleta, or any of the unincorporated communities such as Montecito, Summerland, Mission Canyon, for example, you will be getting your service from us starting this October 2021. So as I said, we are a public agency. Our meetings are held in accordance with the Brown Act. We have a policy board made up of our elected officials, such as our county supervisors and our city council members and our mayors. And then we also do have an operations board that is made up of our city managers as well as our county administrators. So a good example would be the county of Santa Barbara. That seat is currently being represented by our supervisor, Doss Williams, as well as county administrator, Mona Miyasato. And then for the city of Goleta, they share the seat with Carpinteria, and they rotate the seat at their own discretion. That seat is being currently held by Councilmember Richards, as well as city administrator Dave Derflinger. And so when I want to just quickly highlight what the process looks like, what the timeline looks like for when a city or county decides to join and when their community actually enrolls into our agency. So it takes about 1.5 years to almost 2 years for a jurisdiction to actually enroll its residents or its commercial customers into our agency. At the very beginning, they are evaluating the decision to join a CCA, and at the end, they effectively pass a resolution and 2 ordinances to join a CCA program. And it takes about 1.5 years for that CCA to determine where to source that energy in order to meet the demand for that community. So for the county of Santa Barbara, as well as the city of Goleta and Carpinteria, we are approaching that 1.5 year mark. And so your enrollment is coming soon in October of 2021. I do want to highlight a couple of accomplishments. I'm not going to go ahead and read bullet by bullet, but I do want to highlight how we are here to serve the community. So today we have been really invested in economic vitality. One of the key mechanisms for that is investing in our energy programs. And so today we've invested nearly 12 million, it's almost $14 million in energy programs for our customers. We also have been able to provide customer benefits through our competitive rates. We are really invested in local support as well. So we want to make sure that we contract with local vendors whenever possible. And I'm going to talk about an opportunity to do that in one of our next slides. We are also financially stable. So this is one of the things we pride ourselves in. Even though we are a public agency, we need to run as smoothly as any other business. And so we have a healthy set of reserves, and we do have a stable credit rating, which lets us obtain more affordable rates for our energy, which trickles down into more affordable prices for our customers. And then, of course, we are invested in advancing clean energy. That is one of the main aspects of our mission. We want to advance the acquisition of clean and renewable energy on the grid. So as you see here, when I'm talking about customer benefits, competitive rates, here's our track record thus far since when we began providing service to all of our customers. As you see here, since 2018, we've been able to provide competitive rates to our customers in the form of either a rebate, or more recently, we now provide a discount to all of our customers. And the discount that we apply off of we plan to apply off of the Southern California Edison electric generation rate will be 2%, such that you are paying lower on your monthly bill every month. And as I said, we are a means to an end. A lot of cities and counties have climate action plans. They want to help advance clean and renewable energy. They want to source from more cleaner sources, such as solar, such as geothermal, such as battery storage, which is such a huge component, especially when we need to store energy during the day from sources such as solar and deploy it when we most need it, such as the evening hours of 4 to 9. That may also include hydroelectric at this moment. And so our plan, we do have a tangible plan to be able to reach 100% clean and renewable energy, and that would be by 2030. We're doing this while still supporting affordable rates. We're doing this while still supporting renewable or clean energy incentives for our customers, and helping accelerate the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions locally as well. What's really exciting about this goal, in my opinion, is that it comes 15 years ahead of the state's mandate of carbon neutrality. So they have directed utilities to be carbon neutral by 2045, and we're aiming to do it by 2030, which is just really exciting. It puts us on a pathway towards becoming 100% clean here in our region, and also just being a leader for the climate in the state of California. And so when I talk about community reinvestment, I'm referring to our energy programs. And to put it in more simple terms, energy programs is another way of saying incentives, clean energy rebates or grants for the customers. Once you enroll as a customer, you are eligible for a variety of energy programs, which can include electric vehicle incentives. It can include incentives for chargers, whether at your home or whether at your business for private or public use. It could be incentives for school districts to get electric school buses. It could be incentives for our agricultural customers to electrify an aspect of their operation. And it could also be an incentive for our residents. You know, there is a huge push to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, not only from our energy grid, but also from our homes and from our transportation. These energy programs are effectively a mechanism for doing that. We incentivize our customers to reduce their own greenhouse gas reduction at home or in the form of transportation. And so we do hope to provide incentives for homeowners to go all electric, whether that comes in the form of electric stoves or heat pump water heaters. We're looking into programs that can help provide those opportunities for our customers. And then we also do want to invest in our community-based organizations through grants. And so if you participate in a community organization, you think you can provide education related to the energy space or education related to energy as it relates to workforce development, then we do have a grant that we hope to share with you as well. So these are two examples of the programs of very successful programs that we've launched in the last year. One of them is Electrify Your Ride. It's an electric vehicle incentive program to purchase or lease a new or used electric vehicle. It's been available throughout the service area, and this is a program that we hope to release soon after your enrollment begins. We also have Charge Your Ride. This is a program to complement the electric vehicle incentive, and this is effectively used to incentivize the installation of chargers at your home. It could also pay for any replacements of the panel, any upgrades of the panel, any installations of the wall outlet, as well as any cost for the electrician or the materials needed for the installation. And so this program, like I said, would be available not only at the home, but also at the business, whether it's used for private or public use. So what can you expect out of the enrollment? So once you become a customer, you do have a couple of choices. Of course, I will be talking about the choice on whether you would like to remain enrolled with us or whether you would like to opt out to Southern California Edison. But assuming you do want to remain a customer of Central Coast Community Energy, you can choose between the two options that you see here. Everyone is going to be defaulted into 3C choice. So that is the default offering that you see here, and it's the competitive one. It's where you get the most competitive rate, which is about 2% of a discount off the generation rate from Southern California Edison. Except as you see here on the screen, this energy mix or this offering comes with an energy mix that is roughly 31% renewable energy, which means that we still have a couple ways to go in order to offer 100% renewable energy in this offering. If you are someone who supports a 100% energy offering that comes with renewables from solar and wind, we highly encourage you to check out 3C Prime. It does come at a premium. As you see here, it comes at about 0.8 of a cent for every kilowatt hour more than 3C choice, but the option is yours. It is completely optional. There are no fees or consequences for opting back to 3C choice or switching between the two every month. We just leave it as a premium offering for customers that want to support more renewable energy in what they pay for. And if you do want to opt into this choice, you can either fill out a web page online on one of our pages on our website, or you can call the number that you see here on the screen. We're going to be sharing that number in the chat, as well as at the end of the presentation, should you want to get in touch with us, get in touch with the representative who can help you make that decision. Now, in terms of the enrollment, so we do have what is called an enrollment window. This is a 5-month window that starts in August and ends in December. It's roughly 150 days, if I'm not mistaken. It comes with a set of notices. And so we are required by the state to send a total of 4 notices to all of the enrolling customers. That includes 2 in August, 1 in August, 1 in September. That includes the last 2 that come in November and December. And in these notices, you are getting information on your enrollment, what choices you have, who is Central Coast Community Energy, and how you can make that choice, whether by phone call, whether by email, and so or by filling out the web page that I'm referencing, one of the web pages that I'm referencing on our website. I would recommend that everybody, if you do want to make the choice to opt out, that you would call our call center. That's the most efficient and easiest way to do so. Another thing that I want to mention here, as you see it on the screen, the transition for every customer will vary based on your meter read date. So this is a date on which Southern California Edison will read your meter. That's going to determine the exact date on which you will make the transition to our service. So that's going to be different for every customer. Now, if you do want to opt out, if you choose to opt out within this window, you are not subject to any fees, such as the $5 residential fee for processing your opt-out or the $25 commercial customer fee. It would also be beneficial, should you choose to opt out, that you do it within this window, because there's no limit or there's no time requirement to be able to return back to this agency. If you were to choose to opt out after the window closes, you would have to wait about a year to be able to return to a CCA service. So as I mentioned, those notices are required by state law that we send them to everyone throughout that period. But what we want to do is go above and beyond, make sure that the communities are well informed that this enrollment is happening. We want to make sure that you understand that you do have a choice now between who is sourced, between Edison or us, to determine how and where your energy is going to get sourced. And so in order to make sure that we get the word out, we've been doing direct outreach to key stakeholder groups. We've been leveraging regional advertising via social media, via newsletters, via newspapers and television and radio ads as well. We've been working on digital resources such as our FAQs and our videos and our web pages. So should you have any questions that you or topics that you want to learn more about, I highly encourage you to check out our website. We're always updating those with helpful resources. And then we also do have a call center. So we're going to share that number at the end of the presentation. If you do want to speak with the representative, you do have a number that you can call as well. Along with that, we do want to collaborate with our city and county partners to make sure that they can distribute the information through their channels as well. So the example that you see here on the screen is a sample of what the bill may look like after your enrollment. So if you are enrolling in October, you could expect the first shared bill in November, where it's going to feature our electric generation charges. And that would appear on roughly page 5 of 6 of your energy bill. As you see here, we are here to just simply replace the generation charges that came from Southern California Edison. And so as a reminder, or for anybody who's just joining us, we are not here to replace, or we are not here to serve as an additional charge. We are not here to serve as a duplicated charge. We are actually just replacing the old generation charges that came from Southern California Edison. But as I mentioned, they will still continue to deliver that energy to your home or to your business. And so their charges for the delivery will still be reflected on their portion of the bill. But just know that the sourcing of your energy, or the generation component of your energy, will now come from us, since we become the primary electric generation service provider for all customers. If you have a solar rooftop, or you may even have a wind turbine on your property, you are considered a net energy metering customer. Just know that your enrollment will actually be different than everyone else's. Your enrollment will begin in January of 2022 on your meter read date with Southern California Edison. And so your window would actually begin in November. It will be a 5-month window, just as it is with the customers in this enrollment batch. And we're also going to be including a different set of notifications. So that comes with the customer letter, an email notification, a webinar, as well as the 30-day notifications prior to the start of your enrollment as well. And I want to make it very clear, if you are on CARE, FARA, HEAP, or medical baseline, these are all discount programs or assistance programs. One of them, medical baseline, is for our customers that rely on medical equipment and get a special rate with their utility provider. Just know that you're not going to be losing any of these programs. They're not going to change in any way, and we're going to honor them once your enrollment begins with Central Coast Community Energy. So you don't have to worry about losing any of these programs, and they're not going to change at all. So to partner with local businesses, this is one of the opportunities that I was alluding to support our local vendors, our local businesses here in the service area. We've developed a vendor registry for small and local suppliers, and the goal of this registry is to increase the economic impact within small and local businesses across our service area by contracting with small and local vendors for our business needs. Registration, we would consider, as a first step that's designed to inform you of business opportunities, of perhaps requests for proposals that would be applicable to you. And it's also going to allow us to identify barriers to any small and local business participation. So if you think you provide a service that would be valuable to our public agency, I highly encourage you to fill this out. It's going to provide us with your contact information, and we can get in contact with you when something relevant comes up. So we are nearing the end of our presentation. I do just want to highlight a couple of events that are coming up. So we do have a commercial webinar coming up pretty soon. It's for November 9th. And then we do have our next round of community public forums coming in November. The English one would be on the 16th. And then if you know someone who would prefer this webinar in Spanish, we also have one for them on November 18th. So with that, we are happy to move on to the questions portion. I will have some of my colleagues support in answering some of the questions. What I want to do right now is just leave you with this slide open or appearing on your screen so that you can take down our contact information and also find the link to our website. I can also share this on the chat. should you want to click on that link right away. So again, thank you so much for your time. We're now going to proceed with the questions and answers portion. But before we do that, I do see that our guest, Supervisor Doss Williams, is still here with us. So Supervisor, I just want to pass it over to you if you want to share any closing remarks before we get started with the Q&A portion. Thank you so much.
I saw a lot of the questions, and a lot of the questions sort of centered, and I love that this is the questions I get from my constituents on what is substantive about carbon reductions from 3CE versus from Southern California Edison. And you know, a lot of this centers on the stuff on a label can include the purchase of what we and what most environmentalists consider tools to greenwash, right? So there's these things called carbon-free attributes you can purchase. Even if you have all dirty energy, you can make your energy look really green. Well, we at 3CE have done something really revolutionary, which is to reject that as a strategy to sell it to you all. Instead, we want substance. So last year we made a determination to stop buying carbon-free attributes and use all that money and more to buy more renewable projects, so that the energy that we bring to you is causing more renewable projects to be built. And frankly, you know, that's no longer true of PG&E and SCE. You know, that's the only reason why I'm with 3CE, because I want to make sure that our contribution to the grid reduces carbon emissions more substantively than what's happening in the rest of the state. And also, if there's any follow-up questions, I'll give you out my email, dwilliams@countyofsb.org. And feel free to, you know, we do public meetings. This kind of gathering is only one way that the public can interact with us. Just like you can attend a Board of Supervisors hearing and tell me what I'm doing right and what I need to do better, you can also attend 3CE meetings and participate in our debate of these topics as they come up.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Williams. Let's go ahead and get started with the Q&A, and I'm going to pass it over to one of my colleagues, either Jenna or Susan, if you would like to take over reading some of the questions and then answering some of the questions as well. Thank you very much.
Oswaldo, can you go back in the slide for a moment? We're going to start with a simple one. Can you back in the slide in a moment? Someone's looking to see the bill. Can you go back in the slides and show what the bill looks like, where we show up, and talk a little bit about how we show up within Edison's bill or PG&E's bill?
Yeah, so just to provide a recap of this bill sample, Southern California Edison will continue to be responsible for the billing. So you don't have to worry about getting two separate bills, one from us and one from Edison. It's going to be one clean consolidation. On your bill after following the enrollment, you could expect to see optic changes starting in November. But when you see us appear on your bill, don't confuse it for an additional charge. It's not a duplicated charge. That's the first thing to note. Also, another thing to note is that our rates are competitive. So we do apply a 2% discount off of SCE's generation rate, such that you are paying a lower amount every month. The other thing that I want to note, as you see here on the image, is that we will appear on page 5 of 6 of your energy bill. It's going to show a breakdown of your generation charges. The great thing about this new, reconfiguration of the bill per se, is that you can see now more transparency. You have access to transparency. You have access to a breakdown of how your energy charges are determined. You can see directly that your delivery charges are coming from Southern California Edison on their portion of the bill. And now you know that the generation or the sourcing of your energy is coming from Central Coast Community Energy, as you see it here on the slide.
Thank you, Oswaldo. We had a question, someone listening who said, how will this change affect families with special needs children? Currently with Edison, there is a discounted rate.
I'm not quite familiar with which rate she might be referring to. I just know that with medical baseline, for example, those customers would not lose access to that particular program, as is the case for any other customer that has a special discount program with Southern California Edison. So if you are on CARE or on FARA or on HEAP, again, medical baseline, you still have access to that program, and that program remains unchanged once you enroll with our agency.
Thanks, Oswaldo. Okay, we're going to go to the top. We have lots of questions. And Supervisor, thank you for helping with this. Great answers. I love it. All right, so will you be addressing, okay, solar and storage or solar in this application? Customers are asking a lot of questions about their solar and NEM and such. And so we did actually say that, yes, we're going to talk about it in the presentation. And we also said that we're actually going out, we continue, Central Coast continues to go out to RFPs and RFQs for like battery storage and such. And so we are supportive of both customers who have solar as well as customers who have battery storage. We're also very supportive of customers who have EV chargers. We have an EV charger vehicle program. Oswald, do you want to talk about that for a moment, about the EV charging programs?
Sure. So our current iteration of the charger program is available to our enrolled or our existing customers already. So these are all customers who are, they all happen to be in the PG&E service area. But a similar iteration of that program will be available soon for our Southern California Edison customers after their enrollment. So the only requirement to participating, well, not the only, but one of the most important requirements to participating in these programs is that you are a customer of this agency. And then every program may have its additional requisites as well, or requirements. But speaking about this charger program, it is essentially a rebate or an incentive for you to install a charger in your home or in your business. And so we understand there's a lot of aspects that come with that installation. You may need to upgrade your wall mount, you may need to upgrade your panel or just replace it altogether. And then you also need funds for the charger itself, for the electrician, for the material cost and the time needed to install it. And so taking all of these things in mind, the incentive can cover all of those aspects. And the current iteration of the program covers up to 2,400. I'm not sure if that's going to remain the same for the new iteration that would be available for the Southern California Edison customers, but just know that it's going to be very similar, and it will be available hopefully soon in Q1 of our fiscal year.
And Q1 of our fiscal year is actually October, right, of this coming year.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to couple more solar questions.
Can I say one more thing for the solar customers? Yes. Just as a reminder and a clarification, because the solar customers do not enroll until January 2022, there will be another round of notifications and another round of webinars specifically to address the questions and concerns for solar customers, wind customers, and battery storage customers, because we have some of all of those configurations under the net energy metering program.
Thank you, Alina. We have more solar questions. All right, the next solar question. When we get enrolled, if we have solar, if we're on a specific rate at Edison's rate plan, is there a similar rate plan to choose from you?
The answer would be yes, because we mirror all of the rates that are provided by Southern California Edison. We just simply provide a 2% discount off of the generation rate. But whenever you need to, taking a few steps back, whenever you want to make a change to your rate plan, you need to go through Southern California Edison. Whenever you want to make any change to your rate plan, you go through them. And they'll communicate that information to our agency, and we will send them the appropriate billing information for that rate that you've indicated. So if you are, for example, on a time of use rate plan, just know that you will also be on a time of use rate plan on the generation aspect of your service. We just simply apply a 2% discount off of the generation rate.
All right, we're going to ask her second part of the question, which is the bonus question. What is your net surplus compensation, or what we call NSC rate, for excess solar generation for my service?
I can answer this one. This is Lena again. So the net surplus compensation rate for Southern California Edison customers is yet to be determined. And we're a little bit early in the process of determining our 2022 rates. But by the time we are scheduling solar customer webinars and sending out enrollment notifications, it will already be posted on our webpage. So the enrollment webpage that Oswaldo and Susan posted in the chat during the presentation, you can check back for updates there, but you will receive a notification once those rates have been set for 2022.
And I have a side question. We have somebody in the chat box who said, Edison is providing some of the energy, and the answer to that is no. Edison provides actually the billing, the meters, they do the T&D, which we call transmission and distribution, and then we provide the energy. And so we partner together. So we source the energy, as Oswaldo talked about originally, and put that into the system, and that is actually maintained by Edison. So as a Central Coast Community Energy customer, Edison will not be sourcing energy for you. You will see us show up as a specific page in your bill, and you will see that the energy that you use during the month under Central Coast. So that's how we partner together. All right, next question, Oswaldo. We've got, I recently installed solar, and if predictions hold true, fingers crossed for this gentleman, I'll offset exactly 100% of my net annual usage, no more or no less. And so he says, if he doesn't actually, so can you talk a little bit about, customers who are pulling from the grid get a 2% reduction on their rate costs. Customers that overproduce receive an increased net compensation. So his question is, are there any kind of immediate incentives or programs from us for people that offset their 100% for their on-site solar? So what are the benefits from us if he's not doing 100%?
Well, first of all, as Lena mentioned, the net surplus compensation rates have yet to be determined. So it's a bit early to provide a full response on that one. But our agency is very supportive of folks that want to get solar. We do serve solar customers, as you see here on the slide, and we can have more information available for you once we approach your enrollment window, which would start in November and go through until March. In terms, if for solar customers that do end up consuming more than they generate, just know that you are also benefiting from our competitive rate because you are paying less for the generation component of your energy.
And as that customer, how about the energy program benefit too?
Well, you are also eligible for programs. So, if you have a solar panel, you could also accompany that with an electric charger, an electric vehicle, and you are eligible for the programs that we were mentioning. So we hope to release pretty soon an electric vehicle rebate and an electric charger rebate for your home or for your business.
One of the gentlemen asked, will all the questions and answers be available after the presentation along with the presentation itself?
What we can do is we've recorded this webinar, and so we're going to post it on the website for you to look at some of our, you can also look at the Q&A portion that's been recorded right now as well.
Another question says, will Edison charge a different delivery rate if I'm a Central Coast customer?
The answer would be no.
All right, so an anonymous attendee said hydroelectric was mentioned as a clean power source. I'm just wondering where this is coming from, since we're hearing about hydroelectric power being in danger lately due to the drought. And so what's the source that'll be used for this portion of the energy? So Lena, can you talk to this a little bit, and also about the power, the PCL also? Oops, did I lose you, Lena?
Sorry, nope, I was just frozen. I hope you can hear me now. So there are two things. One, I think we mentioned it, that as part of our pathway to 100% renewable, we do have renewable projects that are coming online to help support and fill that gap. Additionally, large hydro is not considered renewable per se in California, but small hydro is. Additionally, we do still have going into this year alone some unspecified that is in the 3C choice product. When we made the decision to not purchase attributes to essentially kind of make the power look cleaner, we took that large hydro and we took the attributes out of our power content. We then shifted, of course, to acquire more energy to fill that gap. So you'll see on our website that we have posted what Susan referenced, the PCL, or our power content label. That gets posted. It's a shared mailer that goes out to all customers, but also gets posted on the Southern California Edison website and our website. That will show the year by year as projects come online and what the full power content is for the energy that's being delivered to SCE customers. And I do believe that they're working on edits for that now, so that we'll have something that will be live before January for our Southern California Edison customers.
And because we have such a wonderful participation today, I don't believe we're going to get to all the questions, okay? But we will have more presentations, webinars such as this. They get posted on our website, and we will have one that specifically focuses on solar and NEM. So please make sure you look for that one, okay? I'm going to go to the next question. So since I'm paying you to source the energy and Edison to deliver, will my total expenses go up? Because it's two different firms.
So in terms of the total expenses, no, it will not go up. As I was mentioning, because our generation rates are created by applying a 2% discount off of the Edison generation rate, you are in fact paying a lower amount on your bill every month.
Thank you, Oswaldo. All right, we had another gentleman. I have lots of solar, great questions from this one gentleman. Okay, so can you talk a tiny bit about the default 3C choice versus the renewable? Because he was looking at the bill and he said, so if I have the default and I want to go to renewable, how does that change my bill? And actually, how do I make that happen? Since we have a lot of focus here on green energy. Thank you, everyone who's here.
Sure, I think it would help if I showed the slide with that information. So this one right here. So as I said, 3C choice is the default offering. So here you are getting the competitive rate that I'm referencing. If you want to support 3C Prime, which is the 100% renewable and clean energy offering that comprises solar and wind, it does come at a premium at about 0.8 cents per kilowatt hour more than 3C choice. And if you want to opt up to the premium offering, 3C Prime, you can do so, I would say most efficiently by calling the representatives, calling our number as you see here on the screen, or you could also do it by filling out an application on our website. If you click on the link here, which I think it was already provided in the chat box, you can find the page where you could apply into the 3C Prime offering. And you can do so before your enrollment even begins. So you can let us know ahead of time if you want to go up to 3C Prime. You don't have to wait until your transition to do so.
Oh, I had a great question. This is a wonderful presentation. How how can I see what's paid to the staff? And so I'm going to answer this question and say, we actually are a public agency and we are transparent. Our boards are, we actually have public boards and via the Brown Act. And if you go to our website, and which is www.3cenergy.org, at the top of the page, it says meeting and agendas. And you'll be able to click there. And we actually are going to be having conversations about the rates coming up and also about the budget for the next year. And so all of this information gets posted on our website so that you as a consumer can actually go to the website and take a look at that and see how the money, the revenue that comes from the energy is being spent to the staff, and also how's it being created into the programs and how much of it actually pays for power. And so it's a fascinating place to go. So meetings and agendas on our homepage, click there and you can see all sorts of stuff. All right, next
Susan,
question. Yes.
Susan, if I may interrupt, it looks like we have one hand raised. I just want to see if we can allow them to talk. I do appreciate when, someone wants to raise their hand to ask their question verbally.
Okay, let's see who's got their hand up. Hold on a minute.
I can allow them to unmute.
That'd be great. Okay, if you unmute them and then they can ask their question. Thank you, Oswaldo.
All right, Chris, we are ready for you.
Hi there. Thank you for your time. I didn't realize I'd actually push that button, but I wanted to follow up, if you don't mind, on some of the questions that I had earlier. And maybe this might better be done at the future webinar for the NEM customers. I'm the one that was asking about, if I'm exactly offsetting 100% of my annual energy use through my new solar panels. How does that work if I were to opt into the prime rate and go for 100% renewables, the 8 cents extra per kilowatt hour, but if I have no net energy usage, then, or if I offset 100%, then how does that fee work? And also, is there any immediate incentive that I get from 3CE when it goes effect, I guess, for NEM customers in January? Because there isn't, if I'm not purchasing power, I won't get the 2% discount. And if I'm not overproducing, then, you said earlier that the net rate, I forget, what is it, NSC? That has yet to be determined, but presumably it's going to be better than SCEs. And if you're not using power, and if you're not overproducing power, apart from having access to the programs, is there any other immediate benefit to being a 3CE customer?
Lena, do you want to take that one before I do?
Hold on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So I'm going to start with the first part first, which is, yes, this might be a better question for the net energy metering customers, but since I saw so many net energy metering questions, I think I'll respond to it either way, which is, for net energy metering customers, you are correct. If you are 100% break even, the only two reasons that you would essentially participate would be for the access to energy programs, like getting a rebate on your electric vehicle, for example, or having the ability to know that in the event that maybe you have a year that changes and you do use extra power or additional power over what your system produced, because there are changes and fluctuations. I have a system myself, as well as this Susan, the other person who's presenting or answering questions. Then you'd know that you're using cleaner energy and that you still have the local reinvestment. But you don't have to choose. You can choose based on whether or not you feel like what's being offered in additional is to your benefit or not. It doesn't hurt to participate, but it's also a voluntary program, so you don't have to if you feel like it's not going to be worthwhile.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I have no concerns about joining. I was just curious, so I really appreciate that. And one other, again, if I may follow up with one other question, we designed our panels to be west facing, so we actually reduced our total annual kilowatt hour output by putting them on the west facing portion of our roof so that we get more valuable power. But because we're roughly 100%, I'm guessing there's not a whole lot of actual incentive we're going to get out of by producing the more valuable power. And I don't see how that changes with 3CE or SCE, but if you're willing to comment on that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, I'm done.
Lena, do you want to finish that one off?
Oh, I was going to let you guys take it from here.
All right. You're teeing it back into our court. All right. I said, thank you very much. Right. Okay. Actually, I want to, I'm actually, you know what, I'm going to hold on that and say, I would prefer to actually do a little more clear conversation with this gentleman on purpose, because he's been very thoughtful about his, well, not that we're all not thoughtful, very thoughtful about his NEM system as he's been building this and putting it on his residents. And so I think a deeper conversation will be good, because I have a feeling that he's going to want to know more information. And this is why the NEM webinars that we do are always longer and more robust, because our solar customers always have they're very much detail oriented about the rates and how service is provided and what happens. And we get some great questions. We actually learn, wonderful time to answer questions. So thank you, all of you that have actually put solar on your homes and your businesses and help actually put that energy back into the grid. It's very valuable, very, very important for us. So I'm going to hold that for a moment. I do know the gentleman, the email of the gentleman who asked the question. So I'm going to reach out to you directly, if that's all right. All right, I'm going sideways again.
Susan, I think we've hit the 7 p.m. mark.
We have. We're actually over the 7 mark. And the supervisor, do you have any little bodies in your room right now? Are they hungry or they've had dinner? You're muted.
They are wanting story time. So that's my next engagement.
All right.
Thank you all for being here and for being a part of your democracy and being a part of your energy system.
Thank you, Supervisor. We appreciate the time you spend with us and all that you do to support us in the community. So have a good night. All right, then we will circle back with all of you. As you enrolled with us, we do have your contact information. We will make sure that we're on the website. We post these on the website so you can see it and listen to it again. Please feel free to do that. Okay. And if somebody missed it, we send out a lot of these invites to the webinars, and we actually see that they're accessed during this, especially during this enrollment time, so that customers can see what the value is to actually the benefit and value of being served by 3CE. I want to say thank you. We still have some questions we have not answered, so but we're out of time for this evening. Very kind regards for you spending an hour of your evening with us tonight, and thank you for joining us. Have a good night. Goodbye.